Hello, everybody. You already know what time it is. It's finally time to rank season 3 of the Backyardigans. I know it's been a long time coming, but trust me when I tell you, okay? Before I start off by saying why it took so long, I know. Listen, when I tell you season 3 had me in a chokehold, I'm being for real. Season 3 was hard. Season 3 had me in a fighting ring. I'm telling you. There were some episodes that were at the bottom, that were at the bottom, that got moved up to the top, that moved up to the bottom, moved up to the top. It was a lot. Okay? Season 3 was a whole roller coaster of choosing which episodes is at number 20 and at number 1. Now when I tell you from 20th place to 15th place, it was pretty easy. But when it came to 14th place and beyond, that's when things started getting difficult. Difficult. But now, it's finally time. No more stalling. It's finally time to give you my ranking of season 3 of the Backyardigans. And like always, if there's episodes that you think that should be ranked higher or lower, that's perfectly fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions. But without any further ado, it's finally time to talk about my ranking of season 3 of the Backyardigans. Starting with at number 20. At number 20, we have Garbage Truck. This may not be a shock to anybody if you've seen my review of this episode. I'm sorry, this episode has nothing to offer. And it's not like on the level of the swamp creature where it was like a bad episode. I dislike two of my favorite characters. No, I didn't dislike nobody in this episode. It was just boring. It was boring. It had nothing to offer. And trust me, I love an eco-friendly concept. I do. But for some reason, this episode did not really make it work. And if you guys have been an OG fan of my channel for longest, I have explained that when it comes to like space aspects, I feel like after Mission to Mars, their space adventure game kind of fell off just a little bit. Like after Mission to Mars was like a great space episode. It'll always be my number uno space episode. But when it comes to the other ones, it just never really hits. However, season 4, next season, it's gonna pick back up a little bit. So yeah, the lowest ranked episode of of this season is Garbage Truck. I'm sorry, especially to all you Star Trek fans, but this, I'm sorry to say, is not a good parody of the Star Trek fans. So I suggest don't really watch this episode if you wanna have a bit of a snooze fest. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm being harsh, but like I said, it's ranked low for a reason. Like I said, it was pretty easy to see which one would get ranked low. So yes, Garbage Truck is a no-go for me. Coming up at number 19, we have to the Center of the Earth. I really do like this episode. I do. Like I said before, season 3, I wouldn't say there's like any bad episodes. Like episodes have to get ranked low, of course. And like there's nothing like against this episode. I like it. I like the concept. I like the whole vibe of it. It's just what compared to the other ones, and I'm going to say this a lot, compared to the other episodes on this list, it's not up there. It's not up there. And maybe because of the dinosaur concept, but however, I will say, if you are going to watch this episode, I suggest you more times than not, like maybe 3 times, put on the Diamond Slide on permanent loop, because that song is a banger. But yes, to the Center of the Earth, it's good, but it's not that good. Next up at number 18, we have The Great Dolphin Race. Now, I really do like this episode. I do. Uniqua and Sea Squirt are the just most adorable things ever. I love dolphins. I do. You would expect my love for dolphins to have this episode like ranked a bit higher, but no, it didn't really do it for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this episode. I mean, maybe because I have my memories with this episode being a bit trippy. Like, once again, I will never get over the fact like there's no explanation on how they're breathing underwater. They're not mermaids or anything. It's not like Into the Deep where they have like underwater gear and they're mermaids. No, they're just under the water with no gear whatsoever, just walking around, not swimming or floating. Well, technically, if you count them on the dolphins, but I don't get it. How are they doing it? How are they doing it? Maybe that's my gripe, my main gripe with this episode. But if there's anything I will, if there's anything that I will appreciate this episode for, is creating dolphins in the Backyardigans art style, which are super duper duper cute. And one last thing, I want me a sea squirt. Next up at number 17, we have Pirate Camp. Now, if you remember my video of this of the my review, this episode review of this, I will say, like I said before, it's a really good episode. It's a great episode to play during Halloween time with episodes like Scared of You, It's Great to Be a Ghost from seasons 1 and 2. But I meant to get this out like a long time ago. I didn't know when to do it because I didn't know like how people would like feel about me. But I will say I crashed out. I will admit I crashed out. And I will say it was very immature of me to crash out about a character not being there in a specific adventure. So for those of you who had it in your mind for longest, who thought that my crash out was unnecessary and a bit crazy, I apologize and I'm really sorry. And I don't mean to crash out like that, but it was how I was feeling, and I felt like, I was just really upset that like we never got a 5-character pirate adventure like since season 1 or in this episode. And to mention, this is our last pirate centric episode of the series, not counting Super Team Awesome, because we only had like 1 pirate character, not like a whole pirate adventure. So aside from my crash out, I'm very sorry about that. But for this episode, I really like it. The songs are a banger. I love the songs. I love Tasha. Tasha was really creepy. There's a lot of moments that I feel like, would go that you would never see in season 1. I feel like when it came to like very high stake concepts, I feel like this season was the season that really knew how to do high stake concepts, like characters being almost close to death. I don't mean it like that, but like close to, like, even though it's an adventure, like this season had some very chest tightening moments, and I'm not gonna lie. And this episode is one of them. So yes, like I said before, I'm very sorry for my crash out with this episode, but I will say Pirate Camp is really, really good, and I really like it. Coming up next at number 16, we have What's Bugging You. Now, I really like this episode. I do. It's a really good episode. Like I said before, I like it, and the main things I can really talk about with this episode is the Wormans, and I love Wormans. I really want this episode to get ranked higher because I like the Wormans. They're my favorite non-Backyardigan characters in the series. I wish this episode was ranked higher, but I do like Tasha in this episode and the continuity of her, because like I go a bit more in depth about the continuity with Tasha and the Wormans if you want to see that video on my channel. But yeah, and I love Pablo. Pablo is just the best. Pablo is just the best. I have Mr. Spiffy. He's a vibe, and Tyrone and Uniqua are just hilarious. They're so hilarious. And I just wish this episode would get ranked higher because it's a Wormans episode and I love the Wormans, but sadly, no. No. But, I mean, if there's one thing we could can't take away from this episode, there's cupcakes. So, how can you say no to cupcakes? Coming up next, at number 15, we have Match on Mount Olympus. Now, I really do like this episode. I do. I'm sounding like a broken record. I'm so sad that this episode's ranked so low because it's really good. Though I do explain my trauma with this episode, how it was just like a bit much for me as a kid. Though it does involve one of my favorite sports, basketball. I love Tyrone and Pablo's dynamic in this episode. They really gave off Tommy and Chucky Rugrats vibes in this episode, if you ask me. Tasha was just slay, but her and Austin's parts in this episode were really scary to me as a kid. Just the loud noises and the lightning. I didn't like that. I didn't. But it's a really good episode. It's really, really good. You know? I like their whole Greek outfits, really, really good. And yeah, I wish this episode could be ranked higher, but sadly, it doesn't. But, I mean, at least this episode does end with a sunny day. And that's all that matters. Coming up next at number 14, we have The Master of the Skies. Now listen. I will forever and always really appreciate this episode. The train, France, the French talk, Tasha and her whole balancing act, you know, and Pablo, especially when he references old outfits, especially most of them were from season 1. But my main gripe with this episode will forever be that the ending was cut short. Forever. Like I will always have in the back of that itchy feeling in the back of my brain telling me that this episode was good, but I still feel like there has to be more to the ending. That will always be a gripe in my mind. Like, why couldn't we have an ending where Pablo got to work undercover for Austin with his disguises? That way, Austin would have gotten a win and Pablo would have gotten a win. Yes, I get it. They both stopped chasing me. Austin got to stop chasing Pablo. That's what Pablo wanted. But still, that ending scene will always have a gripe in my mind. It always will. But the songs in this episode were a bop. The whole train was absolutely amazing. Austin was also nice too. And, you know, this episode was really good. But the fact that we didn't get the ending that I really want to see will always be a sacre bleu moment in my mind. Coming up next at number 13, surprisingly, we have Who Goes There? Now, listen, I have nothing against this season premiere, okay? But the reason, I don't know why, it didn't feel like a season premiere. It didn't feel like, you know, we're back for more adventures in the backyard with a new season. It just didn't feel like a season opener to me. That's my problem. Now, if this episode was shown mid-season, I would be completely fine with it, you know? I would be completely fine, you know? But the moments in this episode were so funny. Osticles, General Pablo, Lady Uniqua, I love them so much. Tyrone splatter painting them, how we got different references to past episodes in the paintings in the museum. But my main gripe will be has to be Tasha not being there, you know? You know, that's my main problem. But it was a really good episode. It was really, really good. It was really good. But my main problem is it just didn't feel like a season opener. And I also love Tyrone and Austin's sneezing moments. Like, trust me, the humor in this episode will always make me laugh from time to time to time. Every single time I think about this, every time I want to watch it, it'll always be, you know, just, it'll always be funny, but it won't feel like a season opener to me. However, there's another episode coming up on this list that could have been our season opener. And that's going to be coming up in our top 5 later on. So, yes, who goes there? It wasn't it wasn't a bad episode. It was really good, but it just didn't feel like a season opener. Coming up next at number 12, we have Fly Girl. Now, listen. I do like this episode. I do. I want it to be ranked higher. I do. But every single time when making this list, I try to put this episode in top 10. I tried. But every single time I thought about putting in top 10, I always kept on thinking about my past experiences. I explain more in depth on that in my review of this episode. I wanted to put it higher. I did. But my past with this episode is what was really, really making me struggle on putting this episode higher. I want to put it higher. Lord knows how much higher I want to put it. If I would put it at top 10. But I can't. I can't do it because of my past with this episode, and it's hard, you know? It's like I'm gonna try not to get so in depth here, but like it's like seeing an old friend, if you can call him a friend, out in public, right? Like you used to be cool with them, you used to be, but then before you guys stopped really seeing each other that much, you remember them doing something like pretty bad to you in the past. And I mean, sure, you're friends with them somewhat, but you're not as cool with them as you used to be back then. That's my vibe with this episode, and it's pretty hard, you know? So, but the music, thinking about it now, the characters, they just made me laugh. Now that I'm older, the scenes make me laugh. And I love doing that, that dub scene at the end of my review of Fly Girl. It was really fun. And the music was good. I love me some Elvis Presley. I love Maharani Tasha now. She's just a slay. She's a mood to me. She's a mood. I love my girl Uniqua. And I like her pink airplane, which I want me a little airplane like hers. I want me one. I do. And the whole settings in this episode is really good. So Fly Girl, I want to rank it higher, but like I said, my past with this episode is pretty hard, so I can't do that, which is really sad. It's really sad. Next at number 11, we have The Two Musketeers. Now, I really do like this episode. I do. My girl Tasha will forever be a standout to me because I feel like this episode really, to me, I feel like this episode was really sprinkling in like how to not deal with and how to deal with stereotypes, in my opinion, you know? Like I said before, you know, I go more in depth with this, but I feel like Tasha was the perfect example of like us kids, you know, when we're growing up, going through that stage in our life, like how for a change, we wanted to play a role in like a certain pretending game that we would play with other kids that like, you know, we would be like, oh, I want to play this role. And then other kids who are like the opposite gender of us would go, no, you can't play that. You can't play this role. You're such and such. You can't play that. Such and such don't play this role. You know, depending on gender. And I feel like Tasha, in my opinion, was really, really, really embedding that, which I love. I love, you know, and, you know, I do like Pablo and Tyrone and the little balloon animals, but I feel like in this episode, Tyrone, Pablo, and maybe sometimes Uniqua at time to time are really characters that, like, you can, like, oh my God, I love them. Oh my God, why they're doing this. I don't want to say I hate them, but what they're doing is wrong. And also, I will always gripe with this. What is the reason that the other Musketeers are getting arrested for? Did they say something bad? Was it because they were saying things about the queen? The Empress, aka Tasha, even though they were saying it right to her in her face because they didn't know that she was Emperor, the third Musketeer. Like, what was the reason? What was, like Cardi B says, what was the reason? What was the reason? And Austin, which is really, really cute, you know? He's just that friend who's like, oh yeah, I'll totally go with you. But then when the plan's in motion with that friend who'll be like, oh, we're gonna do such and such. And then when they're around the other people, they're like, sorry, it wasn't really my idea. And then that other person will be like, what? And then they were like, never mind, nothing. That's the vibe I was getting from Austin. He was so me coded. He was so me coded. He was so me coded. He was. And the balloon. I want me a balloon just like that. So, yeah. Two Musketeers. Two Musketeers. It was a really good episode. You know, it was really good. But if I could, I would rank it higher, but my gripes with this episode is just what has it down. Also, not to mention the fact that my two boys roasted my girl. But I made my decision, and that's what I'm sticking with. And you know what that means? We're finally at our top 10. Which episodes made it to top 10? Which episodes managed to hit the mark with the top 10 list? Well, you're about to find out. Because starting at number 10, we have, quite shockingly, or maybe not shockingly to anybody who's seen my video of this review, at number 10, we have Caveman's Best Friend. Now, I know, to some of you who haven't seen my review, or maybe have, you'll be like, why is this episode at top 10? I thought this episode would get so lower. Well, I thought so too. Until I started thinking about it again and rewatching it after enduring a very hard time in my life. I don't mean to get too personal, but if you guys know, like a year ago this month, I lost my pet companion, Pomeranian. It was really sad, you know? It was really, really sad. And one day, when I just came home from school, I just wanted to watch a Backyardigans episode, and I decided Caveman's Best Friend, because it's been a while since I watched that episode, and one day I just decided to watch it, and when I started watching it, waterworks started flowing. Lots and lots of waterworks. And it just, this whole episode with with Austin and Boy, just reminded me of my sweet dog. And if you guys, and I also made a community post about it, because I thought it would be finally time to show you guys him. I really miss him. I do. I try to look at that post every morning before I go out the door, to remind myself that he's over watching me. Even though he's not there with me anymore, here with me anymore, I know deep down that he's with me. He is with me. And not to mention for Christmas, but I'll try and show him maybe later, hope maybe tomorrow, or before this weekend is over. My mom for Christmas managed to get me some custom-made pajama pants with his face on it. And it's truly the cutest thing I've ever got. And I was crying because it meant so much to me. Now I got, not only do I have fluffy pajamas, which I really like, but I got to wear fluffy pajamas with my baby's face on it. That way, when I'm lounging around and I miss him, I can always look at his sweet little face smiling back at me. And I can smile back at him, because I know that he's looking at me down in heaven. I know that he's watching me. And I know this is an emotional way to start off our top 10, but it's true. I miss my baby. I'm sad he's gone, but the memories will live forever. And this episode will live forever. And I appreciate that I got to appreciate it now, even though I didn't get to appreciate it when I was a younger kid, because I still had my dog. But now that he's gone, I can appreciate him even more with this episode. So I'm happy this episode got to start top 10, and I'm very sad that it got emotional. I'm sad this is getting emotional, but it's the truth. I'm very happy that Caveman's Best Friend is at number 10, because it deserves it. It does. I could put it higher, but other episodes in this list be a bit more nostalgic to me, you know? But Caveman's Best Friend will always leave forever now on a special place in my heart. Forever and always. At number 9, we have The Masked Retriever. Now, I will say this is an amazing way. This is a great way to end off this season. I would put a higher, but with the what's funny? You know what's funny? I'm pretty my season 1 list, and I'm pretty sure my number 2 list, it was at number 10, at number 11 and number 10, and at number 10 and number 9, we had the season premiere and we had the season finale. And ironically, we don't have that this season, which is crazy because I don't know who goes there, just didn't really do it for me. But this episode for the season finale, I like it. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was intended to be our series finale, because it really does feel like a series finale. Like if they didn't commission season 4, this would have been a great way to send off all of our characters. A great way, because like the song A Happy Ending definitely signifies like if the show did end. But the characters in this episode, my girl Uniqua, she ate. Austin was an amazing villain. Tyrone and Pablo serving Tweedledee and Tweedledum energy. And Tasha was there. No offense, I love my girl, but just wish she played a bigger role. But yes, and I was thinking this episode was gonna get ranked a bit low because the topic of this episode, not the topic of this episode, the main topic, I explained that more in my episode review, but I'm surprised. The Masked Retriever is ranked pretty high, and I'm surprised, but I'm happy. And little message to all of y'all, I suggest if you have an overdue book or about to have an overdue book, I suggest y'all return it sooner or later, or else my girl Uniqua will come, and like she said in this episode, I'm going to get that book back. So keep that in mind for all my fellow readers. At number 8, we have Chitzen Itza Pizza We Deliver. I love doing that. I can't help it. I love doing that. This episode was so much fun. If anything, my girl Tasha was nothing but a mood in this one, and I am here for it. This whole episode made me crave pizza time and time again. I love pizza so much. I love pizza. But yes, this episode was just so darn fun. I love it. And Tyrone is the King was also a delight as well. I just wished Pablo was in it, I just wish Pablo was in it, like I explained in my review, because he could have played like a great villain role and could have been like a great reason to why the booby traps were being set off, But this episode was really good. Tasha and Uniqua were really good together as well. Tasha's song I Quit is just iconic. Some days we just want to quit. And anytime I think about wanting to quit something I'm doing, I just listen to this song. This song will just like put me in that mood, like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, can I just stand up? Can I just like stand up and say the same thing that Tasha said to Uniqua? Wanna bet I quit. Can I just do that? Please, can I do that? Please. But I can't. This is the real world. We all have to give and take. We all have to give and take our responsibilities. We can't all be a Tasha. We all can't. We all can't. But Like I said before, this episode will for sure have you craving pizza to no end. At number 7, we have front page news. This episode, you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know. What did I say in my review? To all of you who remember, what did I say in my review? What did I say about Tasha? What did I say? Super snap slayed. And I'll keep on saying it to the day I'm gone. She ate. She ate. She ate. She ate. I love Tasha's secret identity. And like I said, okay? Like I said before, to all my Tasha haters, okay? Tasha haters out there. I'm not trying to call you out. But like I said before, if you say my girl has a bad moment, like is a bad character, like I said before, look at episodes like this. Look at episodes like this. Look at Tasha. Finish watching it in whole. Look back at my face. And what do you think of my girl now? What do you think of her? Did she do anything bad? Did she create any mess? Did she do anything that ignored the other characters, as you claim? No, because my girl slayed. I didn't see one bad moment in this episode. The songs were fire. I love Uniqua's Bug Girl. I love Captain Bubbles Tyrone. This is one of the few episodes where I say it deserved a sequel. Pablo was a mood. Secret Identity will always be playing in a loop in my mind. Okay? It always will be. Always will be. Okay? This why not only my girl slayed, but this episode slayed. It slayed. Period. And at number 6, our penultimate episode until we get to our top 5 is Robin Hood the Clean. This episode was just is iconic. From here on out, the next few episodes I'm gonna be saying iconic. Iconic. Pablo, iconic. Tyrone, iconic. Filthingham, iconic. Austin, iconic. The game that it came out with, that I played on my channel, iconic. Everything about this episode was iconic. And I'm so happy I got to review this episode after my little hiatus on my channel, if you guys remember, during the summer. This episode 8, I don't know what to say. This episode was amazing. It was really good. It was so good. I want this episode to be in top 5. I do. Don't get me wrong. I want it to be in top 5. I do. But it got beat out. It got beat out by another episode. The episode that I feel like should have opened up. Should have opened the new chapter of our season 3 journey. But Robin Hood the Clean is not no smelly episode. It is a clean machine, perfect episode that, even though it's not in top 5, is still worth the watch. And you know what that means? We're up to our top 5. What episodes made it into the top 5 list? What episodes do I feel like really stood out to me this season? What episode stood out to me this season? Well, next up at number 5. I know y'all have been waiting for this one. And I know you guys have been wondering if this episode was going to get ranked high or low. Well, good news for y'all. Because coming up at number 5, we have Blazing Paddles, baby! Yep. Remember when I said who goes there? What didn't feel like a season opener? This should have been our season opener. This episode was epic. It was epic. You don't even know. Uniqua, my girl, had the most craziest, best moment, not in this episode, but in this series. Okay? Forever and always. The desert training montage she did will forever leave a blueprint in my mind. She is the blueprint for montages. Okay? She's my blueprint for sports montages. Pablo is the villain? Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. The songs in this episode, Western, a little bit of sad mixed here and there. Okay. And the moment we all know, the moment that will always leave a staple, one of the top 3 moments in the series that will always leave a staple of in this series is when my girl hit that ping pong ball up on Pablo's ping pong paddle. My girl did her thing. She whacked that thing, put a hole in his paddle. You already know my girl ate. Oh God, she ate. My girl ate. She made this episode for me. My ride or die made this episode for me and everyone else. I cannot tell you how much my jaw was dropped to the floor as a kid when it came to this episode. I cannot tell you. Episode almost gave me lockjaw. I'm telling you. My girl ate, Pablo ate, this episode ate, and it's the perfect episode to start off our top 5. Next at number 4, we have Escape from Fairy Tale Village. This episode will forever leave a charming place in my heart, in my mind, everywhere. I love this episode. I love me a wacky concept. I love me a wacko concept. And this episode has a lot of it. It does. Austin was fun. Uniqua was fun. That gingerbread house was so mouthwatering, delicious. Pablo as the giant was not only fun for me, fun for my bestie. Okay? And just this episode ate. It ate. The whole scenery in this episode was so good. I love this episode so much. I love it. It's just one of those episodes that when it comes to this season, you can't tell me otherwise. What's wrong with this episode? You can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me that the songs don't hit. You can't tell me that the character moments aren't funny. You can't tell me that Tyrone's moments aren't hilarious to watch. You can't tell me Pablo was funny. You can't tell me anything. You can't tell me anything. You can't tell me anything why this episode was not fun. You can't tell me why this episode was not fun. Why did it not eat? Why did it not slay? You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. And that's why this episode is at number 4 for a reason. Okay? It's at number 4 for a reason. But speaking of fairy tale-esque, we have another fairy tale centric somewhat episode that even though this episode's iconic, this episode is more iconic-er, if you know what I mean. You know? So, at number 2, starting at number 3 and 2, hint, hint, we got our double length of this season, The Tale of the Mighty Knights. You already know. This episode was just a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. It was a masterpiece. It was so good. Fairy tales, dragons, goblins, knights, kings. What? Okay, you can't tell me nothing. 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 You can't tell me nothing this episode did not eat. You can't tell me nothing. You cannot tell me anything. Uniqua and Pablo, Tyrone and and Uniqua, they slayed as knights. Austin slayed as the goblin. My girl Tasha slayed as the flighty fairy. Don't mess with my girl. And Pablo, he was serving Versace. He was serving Versace. You can't tell me his outfit does not serve Versace. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. But still, this episode 8, We're Nice, That's Right. The fact this episode has 6 songs in it. Original songs. Adam Pascal as Dragon. With that baby metal. Dragon Mountain. Dragon Mountain. Yeah. What you want me to say? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? What you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Now, I know what y'all thinking. Why is this episode not at number 1? Why? She said this episode was a masterpiece. It should be at number 1. Because I have another episode that's personal to me. That's much more closer to my heart. Much more closer to my heart. To my Livington. To my love of this season. So, without any further ado, if you guys have been keeping track, may I present to you my number 1 favorite episode of this season. And that is Grand Chance from Outer Space. Yes, this is my favorite episode. This is my fave episode. I know what you're thinking. Why this one? What does she see in this episode that I, as the viewer, don't see? Well, because it's like no other episode in the series. It's so wacky. Or the season. It's wacky. It's funny. It's one of the wackiest things I've ever heard of. And that's why I like it so much. I don't know why. But for some reason, whenever this episode, I used to see this episode as a kid. You know, whenever I saw this episode as a kid, something in my mind just clicked on that just told me that this is my favorite episode of the season. Whenever it comes on, some joy, happy button just comes on. The songs I just like dancing to. The moments are just so funny that make me belly laugh. Just everything in this whole episode. Tasha, not to mention, one of the best examples of Tasha being somebody you wouldn't expect to be in the earlier seasons. Somebody who isn't pretty, somebody who isn't all, likes to be glamorous. This is one of the best examples. And Zuniqua and Zablo, they were funny. They were so funny. And Ralphie, the whole concept of blueberry pancakes, the songs were just silly. They were so silly. And I love it. I love it. I don't know what to say. But I have, out of all the episodes in this season, for some reason, when growing up, this episode would just be the episode that would just click to me in my mind. It's something about this episode that I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but I'll be able to, but I can see. I see its charm. I see its hilarity. I see something in this episode that, others may not be able to see. And that's not blueberry pancakes. But yes, Ranch Hands from Outer Space is super wacky, super duper crazy, but that's why I like it. And it's my pick for my number one fave episode in this season. And with that, we have finally finished. We can now finally close the book on season 3. Boy, what a journey. What a journey. This season really, really, really did some things. It really did some things. It brought in a lot of charm, a lot of hilarity, a lot of parodies, a lot of just a whole lot of stuff. It brought in a whole lot of stuff in this season. It brought a whole lot of stuff. This season really, really, really knew how to pick itself back up. It really knew how to pick itself back up from season 2. Season 1 was already good. We got introduced to our characters and stuff. Season 2 knew how to knock it out of the park. Okay? But when it came to season 3, season 2 already hit it out of the park. But with season 3, it hit it out of the park plus a home run. Just, I don't know what to say. This season was really, really, really good. It was so good. It was amazing. This season was really the season for, like I said, one of my favorite things, wacky concepts, parodies, amazing song genres, just a whole bunch of stuff that, when the Backyardigans community fans can agree on that, a lot of their favorite moments or episodes or highlights came from this season. And season 2 too, And, we got a lot of character development. And I feel like season 3 and season 2 were really the seasons that that character developed Tasha, Tyrone, and Austin the most. In season 1, Tasha was a bit of the bossy one. Austin and Tyrone, they were the shy ones, starting to come out of the shell type of kids. Well, to be honest, Tyrone was more of the shy, go with the flow. I'll go with anything as long as we're safe in time for snack time type of guy. And Austin was more of the shy but coming out of shell type of kid. But this season, they really, really, really managed to develop these 3 characters. No offense to Uniqua and Pablo, but when it comes to these 3 characters, they knew how to switch it up. They did and done. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where is Robot Rampage? Where is it? Don't worry. Don't you worry. Because at the time of this recording, my bestie, she finally managed to get her recording sent to my email. And hopefully the review should be out. Hopefully towards the, I want to go for the end of next week. Hopefully. Because I want to go for next Friday. Hopefully. But yes. This episode, I just can't wait for this episode. I can't wait. I really can't wait. The fact that this season starts off with a double length really has me thinking, like, what were the producers thinking, like, okay, the people really like the double lengths. Why don't we start off this season with a double length? Let's see how it'll go. And they did not disappoint. So, yeah, I can't wait to start on season 4. Bestie, I can't wait for our collab if you watching. And we can finally close the book on this season. It's been a long journey. It's been a long time coming. But what I know for sure is this. We've got the whole wide world in our yard to explore. Now it's time for us to have a snack. Meet you next time when we are back with your friends, the Backyardigans. See you all next time.